What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. It is stupid o'clock in the morning. I didn't see my pit until, I don't know, 12:30 last night. It's now 7:30 in the morning and I'm down at Crispy's Motorcycles in Plymouth. This is one of the dynos that we've got in town, and it's the one that's not busy at stupid o'clock in the morning basically. You meet Crispy in a bit. I know him from back in the day and we'll get into why and blah 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 blah, but today is dyno run for this little beastie. Ignore the paint job on the tank. I still need to sort that bit out. So anyway, this is going to be the first run, so I know the fueling's off, and I know that for a couple of good reasons. One, you get the odd occasional pop and whatnot, and two, it's found a plug. It's done it twice now as well, and it's either 2 or 3. One of those 2 fouls anyway. But look, like this is the initial run on the dyno, so all we want to do is give it a power run so we can get a power figure. I want an AFR curve out of it so we know what the air fuel ratio is doing, and then we're just going to do a glory run through all the gears just because it sounds really good. Runs like a champ at the minute. I'm hoping it doesn't foul a plug. When Crispy gets here, we'll get it in the shed, set up on the dyno, and we can have an hour with the bloke and see what's what. We'll be back. Right, this is Crispy's gaff. Old school motorcycle shop. There's no frills and glamour or any of that lot. This is a workshop. Work gets done in here, and he is busy, as you can see. Loads of bikes in here, including some very nice ones. Look at this. I do like them, and apparently this one is completely nuts. There is some stuff that's not quite so good, as you can see from this beastie. Oh my god, what happened there? This was here last time I was here as well. It has had a little bit of a dink. I think most of it will buff out. The tyres are all right, but it's a little bit wonky, look. Looks like a calf racer project to me. halfway through it will start stuttering and that.
Yeah, so it's really rich, but it almost, I don't know whether it's my ears or not, but it almost, I can't tell whether it's actually fully pulling on 4 cylinders when you're really cranking it. It's kind of got that 3-cylinder type sound almost, and it's only like a 60 odd brake.
Yeah.
What are these supposed to pay out? I haven't checked.
About 150?
Yeah, it's a bit down on power then.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wonder if it's down on, because it did foul a plug and it dropped onto 3 cylinders. I reckon that could be it.
Could be. I've got a thermal imaging gun, so we could wind it up and try and get a look at the headers and just see what they're doing.
I reckon it's a foul plug again, it's dropped a cylinder.
Interesting, but it is. I tried it at 6 first, but it takes so long to get to the red line, I recalibrated to do it in 5th. But it's definitely rich. And yeah, 65.2, 65.4 and 65.4.
That's dropped a cylinder again. There's no, I mean, like riding it on the road and everything else, you open the taps on it and you have to be ginger with it. You don't have to do that with 60 horsepower. Now 10:40. We did have a problem with the bike. Basically, it wasn't running right. It sounded like it had dropped a cylinder, and I thought it had failed a plug or something. So we started grubbing about, had all the airbox off, and was pulling leads, and basically could pull all the leads off one at a time, put it back on again. It ran exactly the same. I never would have thought to even check this, but Crispy goes, "Let's have the airbox off and just make sure the slides are moving, because it's definitely getting fuel. It's rich." So we had that off, and basically 3 of the slides weren't moving very freely. So Crispy being Crispy, and he is an absolute gem, this fella, and we'll have a chat with him in a minute. He's gone, "Well, if you want to sort it out now, have at it, the tools box over there." So he's let me use his own tools, and basically the bike is still on the dyno since silly o'clock this morning, so I'm taking up bench space and everything else, and he's busy as hell in here, he really, really is. But he's lent me his tools. I've had it all apart. We've sorted out the slides, which turned out to be the diaphragms on the top of the carbs hadn't seated properly. That's all back together again. And we fired it up without the airbox on, just so we could take it to 6 grand and see if all the slides moved evenly, which they now do. So the airbox is back on it again now. And now we could do a proper power run. It is still going to be rich, haven't done anything there. But we'll have a chat with Crispy once it's all done and dusted and see what's what. Fuel helps.
Got that!
Ben, that's Crispy. Crispy basically owns the gap. That's his name above the door. And we've had a right bloody day in there.
It's been interesting, isn't it?
So, just to recap, I'm not sure how much of this is on film, but we stuck the bike on the dyno and it made a massive, what was it?
63 brake, I think.
63 horsepower at the rear wheel. There's obviously something wrong. We were pumping about for ages. And we had the airbox off, we had all sorts of stuff going on. It turned out that the slides weren't moving properly in the carbs.
Well, one was.
One was, but the other three weren't. They were dead sticky. So the way I get it, and don't really forget the thing, is that obviously you're opening the butterflies, you're not lifting the slides.
Yeah.
So opening the butterflies, air gets drawn through the venturi with the fuel.
Yeah.
That creates a lower pressure atop the diaphragm. That's what lifts the slides and the needles and everything else up. And basically, three of them weren't.
No.
So, we had all that lot apart and put all the diaphragms and that was fine. There's no kinks or anything else. But we reseated them and suddenly everything's working again. So then we rigged it up and we made 100 and...
30 something, was it?
Yeah, we've got the chart. I will get a picture of the chart and I'll shove it off so you can see what's what. And it's making good power as well. So I think it's 130, so as new, and sorry, that took the rear wheel,
Yeah.
and today is quite a humid, muggy day,
That's
so
7% humidity today.
7% humidity, so vapour in the air displaces oxygen, so that's going to account for some of it, but we was also talking about all the line marking stuff that you see in the brochure, and apparently this lot, these bikes back in the day, in 1990, made 150. That would have been at the crank, and there's a correction factor of between 10 and 15.
Something like that, yeah, roughly.
So, roughly, this comes out as 143 at the crank-ish. If I made 130,
Yeah.
add a bit.
Yeah. Not bad for a bike of that age.
Something like that. However, it is running very, very rich. So, on idle, it's rich as hell. If you pin it open at 3k, it just stutters and flogs and everything else. Over 3k, it's okay.
Start to lean out then.
And you reckon between 3 grand and about, what was it, 9, 6?
Yeah, so basically around about 3 grand is really, really rich. Below that even richer, and it's misfiring. And then it gradually leans out as it comes up through the RPM range.
And you were saying that's probably more the needle than anything else.
Yeah, because the needle will do up to, I don't know, 7,000-8,000 or something. I mean, they all overlap each other anyway, but at the top of the rev rate will be the main jet, below that will be the needle. But I think on yours, possibly, the seat that the needle sits in could be worn.
Yeah.
And you can replace them on them if you speak to NRP cars, I believe.
NRP car.
I think so, yeah, I'll have a look in a minute, yeah, because we had this with the ZX6 and we were looking everywhere for a little needle seat, and that was the only place that I found where you could get it.
Ah.
I think
So it could be a little bit more to speak out of it, yeah.
I reckon, yeah.
So we're going to go down one on the mains, see if I can get another needle seat,
Yeah.
reach the car, and then shove that in. Dyno on the day when it's not tipping down the road. Because you should. I mean, essentially then, all we've lost is like, ignoring weather and everything else, lost 7 horsepower over stock, but it does have a high flow air filter in the can. So you would expect to get a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not really after like big horsepower numbers or anything else or tuning the users out of it. I just want it to run safe and it's not going to seize and all that, and it's definitely going to.
Yeah, no, it's nice and rich. It's definitely safe, I think.
Yeah.
I reckon we could see those power figures out of it though. If we sort the jet out, I reckon we'd see a bit more, especially on a good day.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to do it. Okay. So, everybody guessed, there's like a pre-Fettle day, which is what today is, and then we're going to make these changes. So, needle seat, we're going to go back to stuff on the mains, and pretty much that is it. And then we'll come back and do it again. And we'll see what actually comes out of that.
Yeah.
Which will be sweet. We also got a puncture. So, basically, it's been on the dyno for most of the morning. I was putting all the fairings and all back on it again. Went to pull it off and the back tyre was flat. And then we started grubbing about and we found a bent nail on the floor by the front door. So it's a really good way of removing the nail is just to stick it in 6th gear, pin it, and let the thing fly.
I'm trying to avoid it, but have it hit you in the face.
They thank you ever so much. You've got a Facebook thing, haven't you? You've got a website.
Yeah, website, Facebook.
Right, so I'll be shoving a link down below. The one I know Crispy is from like way back in the day. You've probably seen a few trophies and stuff kicking about. He's an old Bentley boy as well. Was it 600?
Yeah, 600.
It was 600, yeah.
Your one's ZX6.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was an R6.
Yeah.
Pro-seating R6. Yeah, it was.
But yeah, so we share the same quality stuff. I do like it here because it's not all glitz and glamours, it's a proper workshop. So if you're in Plymouth, Crispy is well known. Ask anybody, everybody's heard of him. And is this Marshall Road?
Marshall Road, yeah.
Marshall Road in Plimpton, in Plymouth. There will be links and everything else down in the description. So if you need any bike settling doing or MOTs or dyno runs or any of that stuff, you could do an awful lot worse and come in. Anyway, thank you ever so much, Steve. Very much appreciated. Cool.